R2, dog. I ain't even been feeling like doing this, but let's get it. Yeah, it's probably really glad we're up. BIP Red Dot 1.
The O is for the 16 ounces that's in the whole pound. They really out here feeling my music. Shout out the whole town. K is for the killers I know who keep the 4 pound. You give an inch, he taking a mile like it was 4th down. The L is for the ladies for sure. I mean the real ones who out here working hard for they.
What's up, world? What's up, YouTube? It's your boy R2, and we back with another banger, you know what I'm saying? So grab some popcorn and your cold drink and go on down there and hit that like button and then hit that subscribe button and then jump over there and hit that bell. So when I drop these bangers, man, you'll be one of the first ones to put your eyes on it. You know what I'm talking about? What's happening with y'all, man? What's going down? You know what I'm saying? It's another day. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate all the love, man. All the subscribers, man. All the likes, all the comments, the good and the bad. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I appreciate, man, when y'all try to, get on my head in the comments. I appreciate that, man. You know what I'm saying? Because, man, I was a young stupid. You know what I mean? Stupid. I'm not gonna call myself stupid, but when I was younger, man, I used to make some stupid decisions. You know what I mean? Did a lot of stuff that, you know what I mean, I ain't really, particularly proud of. You dig what I'm saying? But, I'm such a transparent, such a real dude, man. You know what I'm saying? What don't, all the stuff that leads up to you becoming a man is what make you. You know what I'm saying? You dig what I'm saying? All these, trial and errors, all these mistakes, man, they build character. You know what I'm saying? In my opinion. And when you're young, man, and you just, when you're young and you got the wrong mind state, man, you're gonna make all kind of mistakes. You know what I'm saying? Luckily, by the grace of God, man, I ain't in somebody's cemetery. You know what I'm saying? For some of the stuff that I done. You know what I'm saying? Real talk. You know what I mean? So, we just gonna stay prayed up and we gonna keep moving forward. You dig what I'm saying? But for the record, I'm not nothing like I used to be. You know what I'm saying? Because this probably wouldn't even be possible. You know what I'm saying? So, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, it's story time. We back with another one. You know what I'm saying? We back with another banger. You know what I mean? Now, man, we're gonna go back a little farther, man. We talking about. Okay, so as you pretty much I didn't graduate high school. You know what I mean? I got all the way up into my senior year, man, and I was just too much into the streets. I was just banged out. Thought I was I just thought I was all that in a bag of chips. You know what I'm saying? And I was doing everything but the right thing. You know what I mean? So my mom's, man, she kind of got tired of that crap, man. You know what I'm saying? And she was like, man, she hollered at my cousins, all my aunties and stuff. She was, complaining to them, just venting, you know what I mean? Letting them know the stuff that I'm doing, scared for me, you know what I mean? It was a point, man, to where my mama used to tell me that she was having dreams of seeing me in a casket, you know what I'm saying? It got that bad, you know what I mean? To where she couldn't really sleep at night, in fear that she was gonna get a phone call saying that I was, dead or something, you know what I'm saying? Um, and on a couple occasions, that fear did come true. She got not about death, but about jail. You know what I'm saying? The times that I went to jail, it seemed like she could feel it because every time I called from the jail, she gonna pick up. She gonna cuss me smooth out. You know what I'm saying? So, um, but she gonna do what she can do to help me. You know what I mean? My mama always been there for me. I'm the only child, so man, I was spoiled to death. You know what I'm saying? Still to this day, I still have my mother. I'm thankful for that. You know what I'm saying? To all the people out there who don't have a mother, or had lost a mother, you know what I'm saying? My condolences, because I couldn't imagine what life would be like without my tea lady. You know what I'm saying? That's the strongest supporter outside of my wife. You know what I'm saying? And she been down from day one, and she ain't never, what I'm saying, not had my back, never. You know what I'm saying? So, what I mean, you can just imagine the only child, my mama was on my butt, man. You know what I'm saying? She didn't play no games, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, she, talked to my aunties or whatever. And my cousin, told me about this place called, Job Corps. You know what I'm saying? I guess it, at the time I'm not really knowing what it is. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking it's like a boot camp or something. You know what I'm saying? So I agreed to go check it out. You know what I'm saying? So we went on like a little tour. You know what I'm saying? And it kind of wasn't that bad. You know what I mean? But now that I kind of sit and I think about it, it was like basically like a prison is. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's good for people who got their minds right. But for me, I mean, it was good for me. But see, I'm gonna explain why it ended up, I ended up getting kicked out of there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man, we end up going on this tour. It's down in Guthrie, Oklahoma. You know what I'm saying? If anybody familiar with Oklahoma, you know where Guthrie is at. You know what I'm saying? Guthrie is probably like 30 minutes outside Oklahoma City. Not far, you know what I'm saying? 30, 40 minutes, you know what I mean? So we go down there and it's, we taking a tour. It's like a college. It's like a college campus, you know what I'm saying? And this, they got buildings everywhere, you know what I mean? They got dorms, you know what I'm saying? So and the cool thing about it was, they pay you to go there. It ain't much, but I think you get like $25 every Friday or something, you know what I'm saying? Just to, you know, do whatever you need to do, because everything that we needed was on the compound, you know what I'm saying? Um, and then your peoples can bring you, basically gift bags, you know what I'm saying? Like they can bring you groceries and you can have juices and Skittles and chips and all basically canteen. You know what I'm saying? If you ever been to the county jail, been locked up, or been to prison, you know what canteen is. That's the store. That's where you go get all your groceries from. You know what I'm saying? That's where you get your soaps, your deodorants. You know what I'm saying? All that different type of stuff. So it was like, your people could bring you, whatever. You know what I'm saying? And it was like a vocational, you know, like a place where you can learn a trade. Like you go through a whole process. Like you go through 6 weeks of school, and if you ain't got your GED, they help you get your GED. You go through 6 weeks of that. So in these 6 weeks, you go through the little steps. That's like the initiation part. You know what I'm saying? You start off in the school. If you ain't got your GED, they're gonna help you get it. And if you want to, do some further, education, you can kind of do that. You know what I mean? But once you come out of your 6 weeks, every week you go to a different, I guess you could say, a teacher. You got a different teacher every week. So the first week is basically all the introduction stuff, bunch of paperwork. Second week, I think in the health class where they're teaching you about health and stuff like that. The third week is like, your schooling or whatever, so it's up to 6 weeks. Me personally, I didn't make it past 6 weeks, but now, so she took me on this tour and I agreed to go, but they didn't tell me that my first day, because it was my first day wasn't that day. It was like 2 weeks away or maybe a month, it was like a waiting list or whatever. But, once I agreed, I signed up, I felt good about it. My people like, man, it's gonna help you, Bubba. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna be able to get your GED, get your job, learn your trade, because they do all that there. They do job placement. At the end, they help you get a car with a voucher, a place to live, and all that stuff. So it's a good program. You know what I'm saying? But you gotta have your head on straight. You know what I mean? So I agree to go, but they didn't tell me that, I had to have my system clean when I went on my first day there. You know what I'm saying? Like actually being, a part of the program. You know what I'm saying? Because it was a Monday through Friday program, but I mean it was Monday through Sunday, and you live on the compound. But, you know, if you didn't pass that drug test in the beginning, they put you on a restriction, it automatically insert you into this restriction program called TEAP. TEAP. I'm not sure what it stood for. I don't really remember what it stood for. But if you were to fail that first drug test, which I did because I didn't know that I needed to be clean, or I would have came prepared. You know what I'm saying? I would have been flushing my system, but I didn't know. So they put me in a program called TEAP. Well, you allowed to go home on the weekends. You know what I'm saying? So you can go home. They got a bus that take, if you're from the city, back and forth. It leave on like Friday after everybody get out of class and stuff and get off of work or whatever your duties are for the day. Towards the end of on Friday, everybody get to go home if you're not on teep. But I just so happened to be on teep, so nobody told me that. So I was already strike one on my first day. I already pissed hot. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, dang. You know what I'm saying? But this is a real good program, you know what I'm saying? So, um, they got cafeteria, they feed you just like the penitentiary, you know what I'm saying? They feed you, they give you clothes, they give you like uniforms, like green shirts and khaki pants, they give you like 3 outfits, and they got washing machines on the dorms, you know what I'm saying? They had 3 dorm buildings, the courthouse, 28 and 26. 26 is where the females was at. 25 is the courthouse, all males, and 26 is, I mean 20, I said the courthouse, 28. Yeah, so 28, it had a mixture of dudes and girls, but only a mixture downstairs because they had an older department. Like if you was like 35 and older, I think you could only be there up to like the age maybe 35 was the limit. So if you was like 25 and older, you was down there with what they call the grown-ups, you know what I'm saying? So all of us like the 18 through 22-year-olds, we spread out from 28, the courthouse. Really they all, the courthouse is full of 25 through 18 through 25-year-olds, and 28 is up top. Well, on the second floor is all 18 through 25, but downstairs that's where the grown-ups is at. They had phones in their room. They could actually leave the compound and go to the liquor store. You know what I'm saying? So, they was old enough to do that stuff. You know what I'm saying? And it was a store close, so they used to do little store trips, but you had to, you couldn't be on teep to participate in none of that. You know what I'm saying? So I never got a chance to do that. I wasn't 21, so I couldn't leave and go to the liquor store. But see, just like the penitentiary, man, black people gonna find a way to sneak everything in. You know what I'm saying? It's older people there, so we used to sometimes have them go to the liquor store for us. You know what I'm saying? Or go to the store and buy bunches of cartons of cigarettes, or roll them up tobacco. Man, this was like a baby prison, but they wasn't forcing you to be there. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of moving a little bit. You know what I mean? So it's Crips there, it's Bloods there. You know what I'm saying? Of course, I'm whooped out. You know what I'm saying? It was, but I made a lot of good friends, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like everybody from all these different walks of life, and we all in here because we've been on the streets doing, God knows what, and our parents is really getting tired of it, you know what I'm saying? Or whoever your guardian is, you know what I'm saying? And they trying to help you become something better than what you on your way to be, you know what I'm saying? So this was that kind of place. They got school for you. They got different trades. They got trades like security. You can learn to be a security guard. I think they had like a wood class where you can learn to be like a carpenter, you know what I'm saying? Or you could like put the little designs in the cabinets and stuff like that, like a cabinet maker, that type of stuff, you know what I'm saying? They had computer technology. You could go and be like some kind of, technology, computer whiz type of person, you know what I'm saying? So they had different little trades that you could sign up for once you finish your 6 weeks. 6 weeks was like basic training, you know what I'm saying? And that's where they had different little steps at each week, you know what I'm saying? And like I told y'all, when I first got there, I pissed hot, so that put me on T. They give you 45 days to clean your system. But man, I'm telling you, man, it was like now that I've been to the pen. At that time, I had never seen the pen. You know what I'm saying? But now that I've been to the pen, it was just like the pen. People gonna sneak their little weed in there. So we still blowing. We blowing Reggie at that. You know what I'm saying? We got blunts. You know, and they got like the penitentiary. They got like I guess what you could say caregivers that walk around all day like security guards. You know what I'm saying? Like detention officers. You know what I'm saying? And their job is to make sure everybody following and staying within the guidelines. So if they catch you smoking weed, yeah, you're gonna get in trouble. You know what I'm saying? So, you gotta hide it from them. But we still blowing, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna figure out a way to do whatever we gotta do, you know what I'm saying? We had our little spots. And like I say, it's girls and dudes on this compound. So, man, it was people getting, they getting topped up outside, and you could just imagine what was going on. You know what I'm saying? We supposed to be in here getting our lives together, but they sticking men, boys and girls, young men and women all in the same spot. Man, it's going down. You know what I'm saying? And this kind of gets to my story. You know what I'm saying? So I'm basically there with man. It's people from all over. It's people from Dallas. I had a lot of people that I end up being friends with from Dallas, Fort Worth. Um, Matter of fact, it was a lot of people from Dallas and Fort Worth. A couple from Houston. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people from Oklahoma City. You know what I'm saying? So it was just people from all over. You know what I'm saying? So I met a lot of cool people. You know what I'm saying? Met some cool people from New Orleans. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so I end up getting tight with a lot of people. It was some cool chicks there too, some cute ones. You know what I'm saying? And I end up taking a liking to this chick. You know what I'm saying? Um, and this is like the only girl that I took a liking to on the compound. You know what I'm saying? And just so happened when I pulled up, when I got there, she was dating this little dude. She was already involved with somebody. You know what I'm saying? Or she had her little favorite or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Because I used to see him kicking it all the time or whatever. But it just so happened that he ended up getting kicked out for getting into a fight. Like I told you, man, it's gangbangers there. It's Crips, it's Bloods, you know what I'm saying? So it's gangbanging going on. You know what I'm saying? We used to do our share of gangbanging, you know what I'm saying? But I never really got into no major static up there. Like I say, I was only there for 6 weeks, you know what I'm saying? So I didn't make it out to 6 weeks. I didn't even get to pick my trade. I didn't get to do none of that. You know what I'm saying? I made it to the Christmas. I didn't even make it to the Christmas play. You know what I'm saying? Because the holiday was coming up, and I had got so close to these chicks from Fort Worth that they had invited me down there today, to their neck of the woods for Christmas. You know what I mean? And I wanted to go because, the place we was at, they paid for your train ticket. If you was in good standing with the program and everything like that, good behavior, good attendance, you know what I'm saying? Um, they would pay for your way home for Christmas if you was not from Oklahoma. You know what I'm saying? You just had to put in for it and they would approve it, you know what I'm saying? But if you just had to do it before a certain time. So my homegirls, you know what I mean, they wanted to take me down there to Fort Worth, and I wanted to go bad. But like I say, I was on teep for 45 days, only had 45 days to get clean. And my mama ended up bringing me some Serto, I poured it. It's like a powder. I poured it in some Gatorade and drunk it. And I'm thinking that was gonna flush me out and I was gonna be good. But what I didn't know is I had to keep drinking water. Keep drinking water. I couldn't stop drinking water. But I got one of them big gallons of cranberry juice, poured that powder in there, and just drunk that. That was it. And when I woke up and went to go take the piss test, I was hot. But I didn't know what I was doing. I'm young, you know what I'm saying? So anyway, you know what I mean? I ended up taking a liking to this chick, you know what I'm saying? So the females, they got a girls only dorm. Majority of the girls at this compound was in this dorm. If you was older, I think all the girls, matter of fact, all the girls was in this dorm. It wasn't no girls nowhere else but 26. Now, if you was in this dorm, now only girls lived over there, so you can just imagine the officer that work over there all the time. If they even see a dude standing by their entrance, they finna write you up for it. They did not want us to be, humping. You know what I'm saying? They know what's going on. They didn't want it though. You know what I'm saying? They did their best to stop it. You know what I'm saying? So, me and this girl, we took a liking to each other, man. You know what I mean? And we was, always kissing and doing this and that and the third. So, I'm trying to get that thing. You know what I mean? I'm like, man, we need to, but see, this what made me like her. She wasn't with the outside movement or none of that. And I ain't really either, you know what I'm saying? But if that's what we got to do, we're going to get it in. You know what I mean? Hey, homie, watch you know what I mean? Turn your back, watch, let us know if you see somebody coming, you know what I'm saying? But she stayed in 26, so I had to find a way to get to 26 without nobody seeing. So going through the front was out of there. That wasn't even in the question. So, man, one of my best friends that I met at this place, man, was my guy, man, Smoke Low. You know what I'm saying? He was from neighborhood, but he was cool. This is my guy. He dark like me. It's man, I don't know what it is. It's something about dark skinned dudes, man. We just click. Like if you partially a real, dude, and you something like me, and we got just a little bit of the same interest, man, we can kick it, man. Cause it seemed like every time I meet a dude and we be cool, like you know how you meet somebody and they just be cool, you know what I'm saying? It's they always dark skinned. It's like dark skins, we just locked in somewhere. I don't know if it's the universe or what, you know what I mean? But this dude ended up being my guy, man. You know what I'm saying? We used to clown all the time. Cause man, a lot of people that know me, they know I be clowning, man. I'm gonna clown, I'm gonna talk noise, I'm gonna hoorah, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna scrap, you know what I mean? Whatever, you know what I'm saying? But I'm overall, once I open up to you, once I get comfortable around you, we gonna get it in, you know what I mean? So and we used to party up there, man. Like I say, they used to let you go home on the weekends, but once I became friends with all of these people that I became friends with, I used to have the compound lit on weekends. Usually it'll be empty because everybody been went home. They want to go kick it in the city, or they going to the city to get some weed, get some cigarettes, get some beans, and come on back. Sunday night, so they can because all that's moving, man. We was paying $20 for beans back then, $20 a piece. Naked ladies, Blue Dolphins going ham all weekend. We used to kick it. They used to have a little cafe up there called the Red Door Cafe. And on the weekends, they had a jukebox machine in there. They used to have like a concession stand. They made chicken wings, all different kind of food, fries, sodas, whatever. So you had a little money in your pocket, which they gave us money every Friday. You know what I'm saying? So you had to choose wisely what you do with your little bread if your mama wasn't sending you no extra funds. You know what I'm saying? We didn't have Cash App or none of that back then. So you had to wait till you seen mama, when she come bring you some groceries or whatever, she'll slide you 20, 30, 40, 50 in one of them boxes of graham crackers or something like my mama used to do. You know what I'm saying? And you can get you some little fiddles up in there and all that. So we used to kick it, man. The Red Door Cafe was famous at Job Corps, man. We kicked it up in there. We danced up in there. Everybody got their cliques. We hanging out. You know what I'm saying? And they pretty much let us like after school hours from 8 to 3 was school hours, but after that we could do what we wanted to do. You know what I'm saying? Until lights out. When it got dark outside, like at a certain point, I think they shut it down at like 10 because we had gazebos. Them gazebos is where we used to smoke at. We was allowed to smoke our cigarettes, tobacco in the gazebo. You know what I'm saying? So we'll go outside, just kick it in the gazebo. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, my guy Smoke, he had the bright idea, man, let's stack these trash cans on top of each other. And you stand up on these trash cans, you can get up in her window. Man, she stayed up on the second floor. So he had to help me. He about 5'5". He ain't nothing but 5'5", super fly. You dig what I'm saying? He's a midget, but man, he helped me get up in there. I'm tall. I'm about 6'3", 6'4", lanky. Back then, I was skinny. You know what I'm saying? So he boosts me up. I get on top of the trash can, boop, 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 slide up in that thing. You know what I'm saying? Her roommate, she know the business. She leave out, boom, bam. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah, I went to go get that. You know what I'm saying? I climbed up 2-story building to go get that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And it was worth it. You did what I'm saying? It was worth it. You feel me? And it's crazy, man, because man, anytime I bump into Smoke or anytime I see him on the internet, we always talk about that. Like, bro, I never forget that. You know what I'm saying? And that's my guy. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, man, but y'all don't understand. The reason why I'm saying this, man, is because this place I was at, if I would have just took it serious, I almost went to the military from this place because they had a military dude that was there recruiting. But when I took the ASVAB, I was just so impatient and so, can't sit still, so ready to get out of there. I was just marking answers. I wasn't even taking it serious. I could have went to the military, been there for 10 years. The 10 years that I spent in the penitentiary, I could have spent that in the military. I was in the penitentiary risking my life, never not really knowing if I'm a, die today, because prison is rough. You can die over 36-cent soup. You can die over cut. You can cut somebody in line And they really have a problem with that, in the pen, man, cutting the person in line at chow time, that's disrespectful. But just something as simple as that, you might not even think nobody tripping on it, but you could die from that. So I did 10 years in that kind of environment. And when I was in this kind of environment, I wasn't even taking it serious. And they was trying to help me. I look back on this stuff, them folks was trying to help me, man. But I was blood this, blood that, I ain't trying to hear that. I'm just here for the honeys and here to, kick it. I ain't here to learn nothing. My mama, I'm doing this for her. I don't really want to be here. You know what I'm saying? So to all the youngsters, man, if you get a chance to change your life and you know in the back of your mind that you need to do it, man, don't let your loyalty to your homeboys and loyalty to your neighborhood and loyalty to your set and your gang determine your future, bro. You know what I mean? If you got your mama and your aunties and your uncles and they all telling you the same thing, just do me a favor and listen to them, man, because it was so many chances that I had in life, man, to not go through what I've been through thus far. And I done been through a lot. I got PTSD right now. I can't really be around crowds. I don't feel comfortable around crowds because I got my hand on my knife and I'm thinking that at any time it could go down. You know what I mean? And it was real bad when I first came home. So it's like, man, you know, just sit down and really think about the decisions that you make today because it could determine what's going to happen for you tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Because man, I could have been in the military, did my 10 years in the military, been out here getting benefits, getting that, 14, 1500 every week. You know what I'm saying? My kids would be eligible to go to college on their dime. You know what I'm saying? These are just benefits of, doing the right thing. You know what I mean? And the military ain't for everybody, but shoot, if I'm in the penitentiary, I was in the penitentiary 10 years, man, on some guerrilla, wartime stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? Having to be that way because everybody around me is that way. And if you show a weakness, they're gonna try to come get you. And I can't have that. I got to get on to my mama. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, you know what I mean? If I would have been doing that for 10 years instead of running these streets, if I would have been in business school or went to be a lawyer for 10 years in school, went to law school, took the bar, I would have took that route, put my energy towards that, I would be in a way better position than I'm in today. You know what I'm saying? A way better position. So man, young people, young brothers, y'all listen to me, man. If you got any opportunity to do the right thing, seize and take advantage of it. Don't don't just brush it off like it's nothing, man. Life is precious, and I promise you, if you don't start today and try to make your life better, man, you're gonna be 40 looking up like, dang, what did I do with myself? I did all this just to go to the penitentiary or spend my life in the penitentiary, bro. You don't want to do life in the penitentiary. I know plenty of brothers doing life in the penitentiary, plenty of them. My little cousin, man, is on death row right now. You know what I mean? For allegedly, taking his baby mother's life. You know what I'm saying? You don't want that for yourself, man. You know what I'm saying? You don't want that for yourself, and I don't want that for you. You know what I'm saying? So that's another banger. You know what I'm saying? Which turned into a lesson. You know what I'm saying? So, and my lesson that I learned from that situation is that, man, I should have took that serious, and life would be a lot so much better for me right now. Not saying that my life ain't great. I love my life, and I don't regret nothing. But I'm telling you, if I would have made better choices, I would have better results up until this point in my life. It's your boy R2, and I'm gone. Appreciate y'all, man.